All right. So don't forget to like and subscribe as we are going to talk about Conor McGregor being accused, allegedly, of being a drug kingpin. And we're going to go into a reaction from none other than Jesse on Fire, who, by the way, does a lot of great Conor McGregor content. And we're going to tie all this in to Black Mafia Family's own Big Meech, who, by the way, is being released this week, this very second, right now, going on house arrest. Now, who is he? Well, I'll tell you this. During the mid 2000s, I was in high school. From the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, some of the biggest artists in hip hop during that time was No Diddy, Sean Combs, obviously Trina, T.I., Jay-Z, Young Jeezy, and Fabulous. Who and what do they all have in common? Obviously, it deals with Big Meech, this big drug kingpin that we are talking about right now. Also, on the same video where we're talking about Conor McGregor being accused as a drug kingpin. So we're going to get to it. Let's hear what Jesse on Fire has to say about this particular topic.
And the topic at hand. So, former two-division UFC champion Conor McGregor appeared to be amused at accusations that he is currently running an underground cocaine business from his yacht in a now deleted post from his official X account. Let me just say one thing related to that. Okay. So, in almost every single case, legal, reputation, any type of topic that you do not want people to know about, where you see someone talking about something and you're like, oh shit, I really don't want people talking about this. Here is what your best way forward is. Shut up. Shut up. Don't.
And Jesse on Fire is right, but why isn't Conor McGregor doing that? Well, I think the obvious reason is that it creates sort of a notorious reputation out of this whole entire accusation, right? So, in other words, there's a saying in the hip hop community, right? If somebody's accusing you of, let's say, an unaliving of some sort, right? You're obviously told to keep your mouth shut about it, not say anything, but at the same time, sort of not deny your responsibility in a very veiled way. But I think that's where he's going to go into this.
Don't acknowledge it. Don't talk about it. Say nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not a word. Zero. Do not. In almost every single case, when someone tries like, oh, I'm going to get out ahead of this thing, it's the Streisand effect. Almost every single time where people will be like, wait, what? Wait, say again. What's that? You want to know how many people would have known that Conor had been accused of running an underground? I mean, let's just assume, obviously, this is I'm not saying that this is actually real, but let's say that it was and use this as a perfect example. How many people would have even known that someone accused Conor? It's like, hey, he's running an underground, blow business internationally.
So I got to tell you, that would be very far-fetched for a lot of people, especially casuals, but also more so people that are outside of Ireland and the Dublin section and that part of the world. A lot of people would have a hard time grasping the reality of this. For number one, he's already a billionaire to a certain extent, right? Or at least close to it, has all the money in the world. So why would he need to do that? Why would he need to go into that particular business? We're going to get more into that in a second. For now, let's go back into the BMF family, right? Because this is also the topic at hand, which Big Meech, by the way, is being released. And for those of you that don't know, there is a TV series called BMF, which, by the way, depicts the Black Mafia family, drug trafficking and money laundering organization, according to Wikipedia, right? As if Wikipedia is a reliable source. For many people, it is. For this particular instance in this show, it's good enough. So here we go. They were founded in 1985 in Southwest Detroit by the brothers Demetrius Edward Big Meech Flannery and Terry Lee, Southwest T as he is known, right? By 2000, had established cocaine distribution sales through the United States through its Los Angeles based source and direct links to the Mexican drug cartels. So let's talk about their allies, right? Because obviously they operate in Los Angeles as well. They are a gang that operated out of the Midwest, but they also have ties in the West Coast, and these are their allies: Folk Nation, Gangster Disciples, Black Disciple Gangsters, Insane Spanish Cobras, which, by the way, a lot of these are Midwestern gangs. Go figure, that's their main base. And obviously, they're also based out of Los Angeles and other West Coast elements as well. So, Gangster Sin City Boys, Simon City Royals, Crips, okay, Zopound, which is a Haitian gang out of Florida, and the rivals, the People Nation, Cash Flow Posse, Latin Counts, Out Cold Gangsters, Vice Lords, Almighty Gaylords, okay, yeah, Latin Kings, Bloods, Aryan Brotherhoods, and other white supremacist gangs. So that is their main entire rivals around the United States. So what we understand gangs to be in the West Coast, right, is that it operates within its own small section, and that's as far as they go. But other than that, there isn't really an international or a nationwide effort into expanding, right? And I'm talking about just California gangs in general. But these guys, I mean, they are sophisticated to every degree, right? So around 2003, the organization experienced schisms when the Flannery brothers began to feud. Terry moving to LA to head his own organization. So one of the brothers obviously moved to LA, and Demetrius, which is the guy that we're talking about, Big Meech, became the main distributor in Atlanta. So now they're operating in LA and Atlanta around 2003 and 2000. So this is the reason why these guys have a TV series in and of itself, right? Because this is how fascinating they are. I mean, they operated from one side of the country to the other. I got to tell you, that's where it gets really interesting. But at the same time, this is where you get federal cases put on you. Because not only are you a nuisance to, let's say, people in your section or the police departments in your city, you're now becoming a nuisance to the federal agents that have to be within the jurisdiction of the United States, if not international waters, which obviously, according to this, they've dealt with the Mexican cartels and the Mexican mafia. So there's a bigger element of international efforts being put in this operation. So more on that. We're going to get back to the BMF and Big Meech, but back to the Conor McGregor story as we go back and forth in this. Come on, Jesse. Let's go.
Business linking his sister. Oi, I don't know how to say that word. I'm sorry. I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound disrespectful and just butcher her name. But Oi.
So, from what it seems that the sister is somehow involved in the whole entire operation from this accusation. And I think a lot of it is because the sister is married to one of the Daniel Kinahan family members, who, by the way, is a notorious family in Ireland. I mean, like some real hitters and sliders on that side. So,
Relationship with reputed Kinahan cartel member Graham the Wig Whelan. True, fact, verified. Okay, like this is what I'm saying. This is what I always say. Anytime that I talk about Conor in the underworld, I always tell everybody, I'm like, you guys understand, like, there are people who pretend to be gangsters and there are people who are actual gangsters. If you think
so that's exactly what I was trying to explain earlier. Is that a lot of people are sort of shocked at the idea that Conor McGregor is part of this world or even is capable of that. Well, the reality is this, right? He sort of showed you signs early on that he was capable of being this kind of person. Now, a lot of that people toss up as, well, you know what? It's just all for clout, or it's just all for social media promotions and things of that nature. I mean, make of that as you will, right? But when you know, you know, if you know that somebody is real and you know somebody is about that life, you know.
because Conor's this famous that means he's not like an actual verified, you're out of your mind. Like this dude runs in the absolute highest circles. Like there's, organized crime is not a thing that just happens in the movies, dude. Like organized crime is real everywhere. Now, I have always marveled at how what's the right way to put this? I find it so bizarre that humans repeat the same behavior over and over and over and over and over. Like, I don't know if it means
So I know exactly what Jesse on Fire is trying to convey with this, right? When he says that it's normal everywhere, I mean, it literally is, in a sense where, you know what? People have needs, necessities, and things that they need to do. And as a result of that, they're going to get to their goal by any means necessary. And even worse, if they are in tough positions in life. Now, obviously, I said we're going to go back and forth with this. Let's go back to the big Meech story real quick, right? Where I left off in the Wikipedia of trying to understand who they are. So, around 2007, right, the brothers pleaded guilty to running and continuing a criminal enterprise. Okay, so September 2008, both brothers were sentenced to 30 years for running a nationwide cocaine traffic ring, which lasted from 2000 to 2005. Now, Demetrius Flannery, aka Big Meech, was released to a home confinement on May 5th, 2020, after being granted and compensated a release due to health ailments and an effort from the FBI of prisons to release certain inmates in order to limit the spread of COVID-19. Well, I can't say that word, but you know what I mean. Demetrius Flannery also sought his release under the same guidelines. However, a federal judge rejected the move, claiming it would be premature to authorize his release, as his prison record suggests he was not changed and continue to promote himself as a drug kingpin. Once again, going back to the Conor McGregor situation, right? Why is Conor McGregor doing that? I mean, let's just be honest. Everybody wants to look dangerous. Let's go back to the Conor and then go back to BMF and Big Meech. Back and forth.
we're in a simulation. I don't know if it means that humans are just kind of like these like hardwired creatures that do the same things, but it's so bizarre. You go to China, you have the triads, and what do? They run drugs, they run women, they run, they run protection rackets, whatever. You go to New York, you have the mafia, you have this, you have that. You go to Mexico, same thing. Colombia, same thing. You go to Ireland, same thing. It's like, it's so bizarre how like humans that have no contact with each other do the exact same things all the time. But at the end of the day, bottom line, in every single area, you will have high level organized crime that runs, certain sized organizations that have a certain amount of reach, but they're all super fucking dangerous, right?
So There it is. Once again, having a certain section that they sort of control or make money out of. Right now, let's go back to the BMF stuff real quick. Okay. So, BMF Entertainment in the late 2000s, Big Meech established BMF as a promotion agency and a record label for hip hop music. The Big Meech and his brothers were known to have associates at a high profile level. We're talking about P. Diddy, as we mentioned earlier, Trina, T.I., Jay-Z, Young Jeezy, which, by the way, was very big in the mid 2000s. And of course, Fabulous, the rapper out of New York. So Big Meech founded BMF Entertainment as a front organization for generated by Cocaine Distribution Network, but was also trying to attempt to create a legitimate business and a source of income. So right around this time, the Flannery brothers organized and formally adopted the name Black Mafia Family after being unnamed. Going back to Conor McGregor, it seems to be a bit of the opposite for Conor, isn't it? Right? Because obviously we know that this guy is already a rich entrepreneur, fighter. He's already got his life going on. I mean, why does he need to do this? Well, once again, man, everybody wants to be dangerous. That's the bottom line about it. Okay. Everybody wants and needs to be dangerous. And that is the reason why he is probably doing it. But who knows? Maybe all of this is alleged by the end of the day anyway. So, going back to Jesse on Fire on this one. All right. So let's learn more about who Conor rolls with. Okay.
Is the pinnacle of Irish organized crime, and the pinnacle of his Irish organized crime is an international group, dude. Like the Kinahan gang, the head dude is in Dubai, and it's like you can't do these huge boxing events. I mean, now the Saudis might change that, but without him blessing it, he's like super high up, super legit. I think he's on like the fucking what do you call it? Interpol most wanted or whatever I've heard. But I know people who have met him and done business with him, and they're like, he is an absolute stone gentleman, like a gentleman to do business with. You obviously know who he is.
Okay, so from what it seems, Jesse on Fire has just put that particular video on his members only section. So if you want to see the rest of that, go check out Jesse on Fire's members only stream just to watch that video regarding Conor McGregor being a kingpin, which, by the way, leads us back to BMF. Okay, let's go back and take a look at their history that we were just looking at. So right here, in the late 2000s, I've mentioned about the money laundering, the list of celebrities that they had going on. Also, Terry, his brother, moving to Los Angeles, while Demetrius, Big Meech himself, stayed in Atlanta. And as a result, yeah, this sort of put them in a hot seat based on working around the country that gets nothing but FBI attention towards you, because obviously now you're dealing with a federal system, hence why he got locked up in a federal penitentiary. So in 2005, Blue Da Vinci's album, The World is BMF's, was nominated for the Source Awards. And so BMF appeared in numerous underground hip hop DVD magazines, some of them known as Smack, which was very big during the DVD days, the Come Up. Obviously, they had beef back in the days. GU Not from the game, after he started beefing with G Unit, that was a big thing back in the days. The organization's most visible appearance in a full-length DVD was produced at the War Report, which, by the way, gave details of their inside movement. The DVD was featured in Vibe's cover article on BMF in May of 2006. So it received wide acclaim from DJs for the Soundsmith production produced the song Streets on Lock, headed by BMF affiliate Blue Da Vinci and featuring, guess who, Fabulous and Young Jeezy. So a music video was later produced for the single and though it was never released to the networks. So that's what you have. Now, going into the investigation with these guys, right? So the police started investigating them back in the early 90s before the organization before that organization was ran by Big Meech and his brother. So it was named or reached its peak distribution way before it could even reach that. So the lead up to the October 2005 indictment began with a series of large drug seizures, subsequent informants' testimonies from BMF members. So again, there was a lot of people in BMF that sort of told on Big Meech. So on October 28, 2003, a 2-year organized crime drug enforcement task force began coordinating Operation Motor City Mafia. Okay. So in 2004, BMF carrier Jabri Hayes was pulled over in Phelps County, Missouri, along driving a 40-foot motorhome. Okay, supposedly for swerving over the fog line, 2 suitcases, approximately 95 kilograms of cocaine and 572 grams of marijuana were found in the back of his Range Rover after the canines started spotting it out. So 2004, low-level crack dealer. 2004 in November, William Doc Marshall. Testimony given during these various trials indicated that Flannery organization operated as follows. BMF operated 5 stash houses in Atlanta. Approximately every 10 days, vehicles would arrive 10 to 150 kilograms of cocaine packed in secret compartments. Wow. Okay. So in a 2005 arrest, money seized by the BMF was right here in this picture. This is all the money that they had. $3 million in cash, 5.7 in assets, 632 kilograms of cocaine. So Demetrius and Terry were charged under the continuing criminal enterprise statute, conspiracy to distribute 5. Okay. And so they were all over the United States. These guys were not just in their hometown doing it. I mean, they were everywhere, obtaining several winning lottery tickets from a third party. Wow. Okay. Jacob the Jeweler. Okay. List of accused was also Jacob the Jeweler as part of this whole entire operation. So 2007 unveiled 16 more members of the Black Mafia family with conspiracy to distribute cocaine. 2008 and in 2009. So allegations of violence over the years that they've had over here. Dimitri arrested in connection with Buckhead area of shooting of Club Chaos. Okay. And obviously, in popular culture, 2012, they had a documentary about them. 2010, Rick Ross, of course, would get up on it using aliases and things of that nature. Gangland covered them in their 87th episode, and the drama television show called The Black Mafia Family on Stars. By the way, produced by 50 Cent. With his son, Flannery Jr., by the way, playing his dad, which sort of ties into Ice Cube doing that same thing with his son back in the days. So that's what we have going on with this one, right? You got Conor McGregor being accused of being a drug kingpin. And then you got this guy. Well, I'm going to close it off with this. I need you guys to understand something, okay? Sometimes there are people out there that have to commit these crimes out of necessity. And then there are those that are just doing it out of power. And these two guys right here are sort of a combination of both. Now, obviously, Conor had to get into the fight world in order to get out of poverty. But once he got out of poverty, he could not leave that life whatsoever. But here's the thing. None of this could be true. It could just be all accusations, just a figment of someone's imagination. But by the end of it all, it still works for having a notorious reputation. And as far as Big Meech goes, I got to be honest with this, right? What makes him honestly any different than those corrupted politicians out there that are making their money any way that they can? And of course, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not big on drug sales whatsoever. I'm just not big into that, right? Because obviously it destroys a lot of people's lives. It's not something that I would engage myself upon, knowing that I'm destroying someone's life as a result of making money off of their habits. It's just not in me to do that. But there are other people that can do that because they either are doing it out of necessity or they're just stone cold hustlers to the core, and none of it really matters other than the bottom line for them. Well, for now, that is all that I have. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out one of my new videos that I've had recently. Let's see, what are some of the new videos that I got going on right now as of. All right, so I figured this is what right here. MMA is not UFC. That's a new video I got. Also, Rachmanov and Muhammad signed for UFC 310. Also, Better BF's Bitter X fight news with Dan Hooker. Also, the coverage for Better BF, and also some of the live streams that I've had going on as of late. Arthur Better BF, Dimitri Bivol, currently the highest views that I have in terms of not only live stream, but videos, period. So that's what I got going on right now. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next content to come, inshallah.